Gentlemen, it is great to be back at Marmion. I have so many great memories here at this place. Being in this gym is one big memory. I feel like, in some ways, nothing really has changed. It has the same look, the same bleacher setup, the same stage, the same lighting. Even the smells are the same. But you see, there's one major difference between now and when I played on the basketball team back in 1999. Back then, we had this atrocious floor that was warped, scratched, dented, and mangled. This thing was literally missing floorboards. There was potholes on the basketball court. Who does that? You would dive on the ground for a loose ball, come up with a bloody face, a broken finger, and a missing leg. It was a death trap. It was ancient. I don't think it's exaggeration to say, I really don't think this. I don't think it's exaggeration to say that it was built before the Bible was written. I would actually say it's older than that. It was built before Mr. Tenerella was born. And you may ask, why am I ripping on Mr. Tenerella? It's because Coach Tenerella refused to play me on defense on the football team 20 years ago. And I love payback. So first things first, congratulations to you for having a modern floor that was built within the past century. I assume that many of the speeches you've heard typically cover success stories. Well, if you don't mind indulging me, I'd like to do just the opposite. I want to share a story of epic failure. Yes, a story of epic failure. I was in the early stages of flight training. I was being taught how to fly aerobatic maneuvers. You know, like loops, barrel rolls, split S, all that crazy stuff. And my instructor for the day was a guy named Captain Klepper. He was a hardcore Marine who just returned from combat. This dude was feared. He never smiled. And no one, I repeat, no one wanted to fly with the Klepper. Well, the Klepper and I get airborne, and he proceeds to put me through the ringer. He beat me up. He tossed me side to side, upside down, followed by loops, followed by more side to side. I was toast. Well, I started getting a little lightheaded, a little queasy, starting to sweat a tad, taking some deep breaths, feeling a little balmy, but the Klepper is relentless. And my stomach isn't too happy that I had 2 bowls of Cheerios instead of 1 that day. But I finally work up the courage to quietly, in kind of a mouse-type voice, say to the Klepper, "Hey, sir, I'm not feeling too hot." Bang! The Klepper throws more split S, more barrel roll, more loops, more upside down, and yes, sure enough, gentlemen, I'm not embarrassed to tell you this, the breakfast that I'd eaten just a few hours earlier, let's just say it was uneaten. And all I hear as I'm face down in my garbage bag of despair, uneating my food, is, "Houston, are you kidding me? You're making a mess in my cockpit, and you're embarrassing yourself." Well, the rest of the flight, I was a disaster. I didn't think correctly, I couldn't maneuver the plane, I was a mess. Upon landing, he looks to me and he says, "Picnic table." Everyone at flight school knows picnic table means you just failed the flight. So we sit down at the table, and he proceeded to lay into me for a good 15 minutes, and the Klepper is so mad that I kid you not, he starts bleeding from his nose. This nosebleed gusher. And trust me when I say this, I'll take this to my grave. I promise. I did try my hardest, I tried, but I couldn't help it. I smiled. And a small little smirk happened to slip out, and he caught me smiling, and he says, "Houston, you just made me bleed, and now you're smiling. You are horrible today. Why are you even here in flight school?" Whoa. That one hurts. Why are you even here in flight school? Well, that evening I go home, and I ask myself that question numerous times. It crossed my mind that perhaps, just perhaps, flying wasn't for me. Why was I even there in flight school? And so I contemplated heading to the hangar the next day and dropping my letter of resignation. Adios. See you later, flying. Well, obviously I'm wearing the wings of gold, so I clearly passed flight school, but this begs the question, why did I stick it out when walking away would have been so easy? And to answer that question, I'd like to share a quick story from right here at Marmion. It was first semester 1997, and a cocky, self-assured John Houston walked into military class like he was the man. Sup, dude? I mean, I was cocky. I thought I had life figured out. And that's when Sergeant Major Gissel stepped in. As I'm about to sit down at my desk, Sergeant Major says to me in a dry voice and a steely glare, like he's doing right now, Houston, you have 5 minutes to step outside in my hall, gather your thoughts, and come back into my classroom and deliver a speech. I don't even care what you talk about. Welcome to Public Speaking 101. 101. You're mine, Houston. What? So of course, in a frazzle, I run out into the hall and I start preparing. Fortunately for me, I had an ace up my sleeve. You see, I was an expert on the 1993 Chicago Bulls. I was destined for this. Gissel had no clue what he got himself into. So I come back into class, and in my mind, I speak the most beautiful, eloquently delivered piece of poetry in the history of mankind. I talk of Michael Jordan, Phil Jackson, Scottie Pippen, Horace Grant, B.J. Armstrong. I even broke down the finals where the Bulls scientifically ripped apart the Phoenix Suns 4-2 and embarrassed Charles Barkley. It was epic and I was grand. I was a modern-day Bill Shakespeare. I finished with a flurry, and upon completion, I wait for my fellow students to stand up, roar approval, carry me on their shoulders, and give me a hearty, whoa! Only that didn't happen. Silence. Gissel just stood there, staring at me, like he's doing right now. He then proceeded to deliver a rebuke for the ages. He went on to enumerate the ums and the ahs and the misspoken words. He talked of the horrible content and the lack of eye contact. Sergeant Major Gissel, in short, owned me. And this, my friends, is why I didn't quit flight school. You see, at that moment, Sergeant Major Gissel, in my opinion, was the embodiment of the Marmion difference. His decision to criticize me and to humble me was for a very exacting reason. He knew that it was crucially important for me to learn how to take criticism. He knew that it was critically important for me to fail. He knew that he was doing me a favor, even if it was a difficult lesson to teach. He was teaching me resiliency in the face of adversity. You see, gentlemen, every single one of us is going to receive criticism in our lives. Every single one of us is going to fail at something at some point somewhere. Every single one of us is going to have a boss who is tough and demanding. Every single one of us is going to have challenges. It's just reality, man. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So it is supremely important, I repeat, it is supremely important to develop the tools to overcome those failures now rather than later. And then, that's what makes Marmion such a truly special place. The men and women leaders of Marmion set the bar high. They give counsel on how to reach that bar. They criticize when needed, and then, most importantly, provide encouragement, patience, and compassion in getting us to our goals. Marmion role models are simply brilliant at this process. It's the Sergeant Major Gissel of this world. I look back at my time here and I realized I was his project. He was going to make me a better person who could respond from failures. It's the Father Joel Rippingers of the world. He challenged me and taught me resiliency in the classroom. It's the Father Michaels of the world. He taught me spiritual resiliency. It's the Mr. Tinnerellos of the world. He kept us in line, in the school, and on the field, and he did it with tough love, keyword love. And he did it with compassion, and he did it with a caring heart. The list goes on forever. The Father Abbott Vincents, the Father Bowsers, the Judy Koskis, the Father Kenneth, the Colonel Brandons, the Major Emersons, the Coach Angelitas, many, many, many more. We are blessed to have such wonderful teachers who are teaching us resilience. So men of Marmion, I challenge you to receive those lessons, to take them to your heart. We are all going to fail. It's a fact. But with the lessons that the fine men and women of Marmion are teaching, I promise that you will learn from your failure and you'll be better for it. Let me wrap this up with one last quick note. A few years back, I run into the Klepper, and in his defense, he was actually a pretty cool dude. The Klepper informed me that he failed many students. It's his way of preparing us for combat operations and testing us to see if we could overcome adversity. To that end, so he says, he was excited to see that I passed his test, and he was excited to see that I didn't walk away. He also informed me, and I'm very proud about this, that I was the only student to ever make him bleed. To Sergeant Major Gissel, I look forward to you letting me know the amount of ums and ahs I said during the speech. To you gentlemen, as we say in the Navy, fair winds and following seas carry on.